Might be having encoder issues again. I really need to figure that out, but I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, hello and welcome to Blood and Hope Detroit. Thanks for joining us. I know it's been a minute. We're glad to be here. As you can see from our new background, it is Pride Month. We have the scrolling rainbow on this one. All of our things are getting a special thing for this month. So a few times you'll get to see them, of course, because technology is fantastic. Before we begin, this is the World of Darkness. If there's any problems that you have that come up during our games, please take some time to yourself, step away from the game. If you feel like you can handle it, come back. If not, no big deal. We'll do a recap. A really big recap at the end of all of the solo games and starting into the normal play again. So this is Uriel's game, and we are starting during the downtime. First off, though, it's been a minute, so you guys want to recap what happened, not in the solo games, but like leading up to the solo games.
We were looking for Fred a lot. And I mean a lot. We got a couple ghouls, secondhand ghouls. Of course, Chris is still a thing. Rufus is treating him as a semi-servant, but it's okay. There's still some free will there. We found a new friend in Uriel, which we'll be seeing more of tonight, and I know I'm missing stuff.
Yeah, Rufus's big sermon.
Oh, we weren't counting that.
Uriel has a deal with a really old Cappadocian that's just hanging out in this super haunted cemetery. That was definitely a thing.
You say haunted, but really it's just kind of fey touched. And haunted.
I mean, fey touched figuratively and literally.
Yes. So
he also made a friend in the ministry.
Kind of. They're not associated with the sect. They are the clan.
And friend might be a little bit loose use of that term as well.
We're all kindred here. The friend is only as far as you can trust the others, which is not far at all.
As I like to say, I trust you as far as I can throw you, and I'm weak as shit.
So, back to introductions because I messed up this order a little bit. I'm Feyla, I'm your storyteller. Joining me is Buttons playing Uriel.
Heyo.
Nenavar playing both potentially William and the other NPC's name. Tony. Cocia playing potentially Lottie and Cindy.
Hello.
And then Dengle playing potentially Rufus and...
We can go with Dougie, because I can teach you how.
Okay. Rufus and Dougie. That's fantastic.
I'm happy you could have a laugh at my expense.
Yep. All right. So, Uriel, how would you like to begin your downtime?
First thing Uriel wants to do is they want to pop off a passive little email to the person who runs the staffing at their place of business and say, hey, I've noticed a lot of the night staff are getting very tired. I've caught a couple of them sleeping on their shifts. and I'm concerned that they're getting burnt out. Maybe we should look into hiring more people to give them a break.
So, with it being night, you don't actually receive a response quite yet. That might take some time because management is, will be management.
Management will be management, absolutely.
So, we'll get back to that in a little bit. So you have, I believe it was the end of February and the early beginnings of March. So, how would you like to spend the next small chunk?
Uriel will kind of fall into a routine, I imagine, of doing a little bit of actual work, going into the office, checking on things there. Spend a little time at Charlotte's, catching up with Deidre, and keep listening out for some local gossip, see if there's anything that piques their interest, as well as do what they can to continue their research into this knife and what might spark a Tremir's interest in said knife if it's already in the hands of a very powerful Hekata.
Well, you can assume just because the knife has occult value is why it could pique a Tremir's interest overall. No matter who it belongs to, because Tremere will be Tremere. And as we like to say, F the Tremere.
As a Tremere, fuck the Tremere, yes. Absolutely. Oh, sorry, we're not allowed to say that.
Well,
F the Tremere, yeah.
So, give me charisma and either insight, awareness, or etiquette, whichever is highest for you.
Let's go insight. That's actually a decent stat for me. Starting off fantastic with a whopping 2 successes.
Okay. So, as you're hanging out in Charlotte's lounge talking to Deidre, you don't hear anything that you haven't heard before. There's no new rumors. There is a little bit of talk about how people have been noticing a little bit more thin bloods around lately and how they're being more active, it seems. But no one is saying why or specifics that they've noticed, just that they're popping up a bit more here and there. Nothing about any new ones, again, that you can hear and place, but something to keep in mind potentially. But that was at Charlotte's. And now for the knife, go ahead and give me intelligence and occult.
That one we did a little bit better. That is 5 successes.
Only a little bit better. So, you are taking some time to begin searching for the knife, and you find a couple knives that potentially could be it. You still haven't fully narrowed it down yet, because there's, as you've been told, a lot of occult knives that it could be, and that have similar properties. But you've narrowed it down to a few, and almost all of them have something to deal with death or the undead, or are linked to it in some way. It doesn't appear to have any significance in blood magic or blood sorcery or in any of its history. So that part's a little bit odd as to why Tremere would be so interested in it, but it is still an occult knife which has value. and meaning to them, potentially. But you've narrowed it down to about 7 or so.
Okay. Are there any other common links between them, like places of origin or origin stories or rumored creators, something like that that would tie a few together?
Did she freeze for everyone else or just me?
Me as well.
Yeah, I froze on my end too. God dang it. I don't
Okay.
even know why that happened. Can you still
I
hear
can-
me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my camera and turn it back on and see if that helps.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my computer being weird. Oh, there's 2 of
No,
me.
it was mine. There. Does that help?
Yes, so far. There doesn't appear to be any links in that regard. The links is dealing with death, the undead, potentially ghosts, linking to the other side, and along those similar lines. That is the through line.
Okay.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them have similar origin stories. None of them appear to have the same creator. None of the same markings, the shape, or, well, similar shapes. That's why you can't 100% narrow it down, plus you've seen it only a couple of times. But there isn't any other really potential through lines that connect all of them.
Okay.
So that will take you a good chunk of time because that's a lot of research to go through.
Figured it might be.
So you handful of days left, maybe a week and a half left until we hit the end of your downtime section. Is there anything the coterie would like to do in regards to Uriel?
As a matter of fact, of course there is. At some point, Rufus would have gotten a hold of Uriel through either text or call. It doesn't really matter. Do you have a minute to talk? I'm just curious about you, if you're willing to divulge.
You would get a text back. I'll answer what I can, when and where.
Whatever is convenient for you on both of those.
Uriel will probably just name some park that's on the outskirts of the Chantry territory. Some public place where they can meet.
There is plenty
Without
of
being
green
too
space
weird.
around there. So, you both meet up, no problem. Kind of earlier in the evening.
Okay. So as Rufus would probably be there first, let's be real. Since doesn't have to wait for a ride. And as Uriel walks up, he would kind of stand and walk over to them. Thank you for meeting me. I promise you this isn't meant to be. It might be a little bit more intrusive than I think it will be, but it is fine. I understand if you don't want to answer certain questions. Or for safety reasons if you can't.
It just depends on the questions. Been very open, very forward with me so far, so I see no reason to not return the favor.
Yes. So, first and foremost, and he'll sit down on a bench somewhere. I understand the pyramid and the DIA and all that have a pretty good hold, and typically those of your clan stay with your clan. And I feel like I've seen you around before, but it hasn't been very often. exactly how long have you been in this city?
Oh man. Well, I have been in the city most of my life, both mortal and kindred. I was turned early 72, if I recall correctly.
Okay. So I assume been here pretty much ever since.
I haven't had much reason to leave the city, no.
That's fair. And that's understandable. Usually if you are here, you stay here for one reason or another. Usually it has something to do with certain endearment. Kind of like a mother on or a face only a mother can love is kind of how I would describe Detroit.
Indeed. It has its moments.
So I assume most of those were spent toiling away in the bowels of the pyramid complexes.
Oh goodness, no. My sire was independent. I spent my years toiling away in the bowels of a basement.
I guess it's a very slight step up. Maybe not a full step up, but it's close enough.
At least I had to deal with only one ego as opposed to dozens.
This is fair. Most Tremere are difficult to get along with because they always have to be right. I say most for a reason. Now, I know you've been looking into the whole knife situation. I assume that you're keeping on doing that.
Yes.
Have you come across anything else that is interesting? Maybe not dealing with that specifically, but maybe that adjacent.
Adjacent.
If not,
Well-
it's fine. I don't expect you to be a just absolute font of knowledge. We can all have a little bit of crack. I wouldn't necessarily even call it a crack in the armor, but we'll call it that.
Everybody needs a growing edge. I will say there was something very interesting that I learned. So not being from the the pyramid itself, I'm not really the most trusted. My sire had a reputation about them, but I don't because I'm not my sire. But so I'm trying to boost my presence there while I research into this knife. And I'm doing so under the cover of trying to learn more about the Niktuku, because to be honest, I am actually genuinely interested in that, how that came about, why now, that kind of thing. And while I was doing some preliminary research, I found something very interesting that I kind of hoping to hear more about when we talked with the archivist, but I guess that's not going to happen for a little bit. Something came up. Apparently, the older Niktuku will, they'll gather younger ones to them and, surround themselves with these younger, more beautiful childer of their own or of other Niktuku that are out on their own looking for a pack of some sort. It's really odd. And You only mentioned finding the one, which concerned me because if that's how they typically operate, I wonder if there's more hidden out there somewhere.
Well, I can assure you there are none, at least in the train station tunnels. Because that is ultimately where we found that one. And you said more beautiful ones, like somewhat normal looking Nosferatu.
Yes, actually.
That would be news to me. I didn't realize they came in that variety.
Neither did I. I was quite surprised.
Now, I'm more than willing to talk about that. We didn't get a whole lot of information out of them before they had to be, well, put down. But the information that we did kind of gather was they had been here for a little while. And Mike wasn't the first that they went after. Which would follow. If hunters weren't doing everything, then that would seem to fit.
I would agree with that.
That being said, if they can pass as somewhat normal, I would be hesitant to say that we only have a few Nosferatu left in the city without actually confirming that. Because by my count, we should have 3. Spike, Mike, and King. Well, 4, if you count Squirrel Man himself.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, Nain. Nain Rouge, the festival that happens every year, is kind of named after him. He's unfortunately trapped in a 15-year-old body.
Oh, yes, that one. My sire was better acquainted with him than I was. We've never had the pleasure to meet.
He's entertaining. I would like him if he wasn't such a typical teenager.
Such as Eternal 15, I guess.
Unfortunately. However, he is very good at what he does when he decides to do it.
He's survived this long, I'm sure he is.
One of the few that I believe are actually older than I am, which is saying something.
If I asked, would you tell me how old you are?
Turned in 1925. Shortly before Thanksgiving, actually.
Must have been a very hard... Or? I don't want to assume or anything, but it sounds like that was not an easy Thanksgiving to have.
Well, since I am what I am, and my home is on the road, basically, Thanksgiving and pretty much all of the family holidays are a bit difficult for me. But I try not to let that affect my mood and affect my outlook on life. Which may be why I tend to the ones that are involuntarily shoved to the streets. Anyway, enough about me. I can go on for hours, but I know you are probably busy, as you tend to stay that way. And I do have a little bit more that I have to take care of before the next big thing happens, because eventually it will happen. So that is, I will be letting you go. If you need any help doing any research, or if you need some legwork done, by all means reach out. I'm curious about the knife as well. I've just been trying to let you do what your clan is typically good at.
Yes, I've got it narrowed down to a couple it could be, but I need more information. You're pretty well connected.
It depends on what circle, but
Do you happen to know I know this is a long shot. Do you happen to know any possible ins with the ministry?
none that I am comfortable exploiting right now.
Understandable. Well, if you pick up any rumors on, I don't know, say favors they're looking for people to run for them, would you mind passing them on?
I will keep my proverbial ear to the ground.
Much appreciated.
Not a problem. Do you need a ride back?
Oh, no. I'm fine. I've already scheduled an Uber that'll be picking me up shortly.
Okay. So I will take my leave. By all means, reach out if you need something.
Of course.
And Rufus will depart.
Okay. That was their talk. Lottie or William. Or Uriel, do you have business with the other two?
Let's see. Uriel would probably have already completed their conversation with Lottie at that point, which we hashed out during her episode. I don't know if they would have any business with William at this point. I think we're good. Unless they have
I
something.
agree. I don't have anything. I'm good.
I believe William was fairly busy this week, so we'll save it for next one.
Okay. So, Uriel, you have a little bit of time left for the second week of March begins. What would you like to do in the last handful of days?
I think at this point, with hitting sort of a plateau with the whole thing about the knife and not being able to get much more on the Niktuku at this point, Uriel would probably default back to thinking about Valentina and seeing her collection and wondering what she was talking about, the connection between the Ventru and Artemis.
Okay.
See if there's anything they can glean about that.
So that, I'm assuming you would like to roll intelligence and occult, but I will also allow etiquette.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and burn a willpower to re-roll a couple of those.
Okay.
Okay, that's much better. 6.
Okay. So, it does take some time. It's hard to dig up specifics. but you find mentions of some of their early clan progenitors. They hesitate to use the words antediluvian and Methuselah and the child or of thereof, but you could wager a guess that it is along those lines.
Very interesting.
And that was a Greek goddess. And you know, Valentina is Greek. That is very obvious from everything about her. But it's an interesting connection there, in your opinion.
Very much so.
Good roll. That would probably eat up the majority of the rest of your time. A lot to go through, a lot of digging. They typically only have things that are okayed in the Camarilla, which talking about those things is not, as one could imagine. So, you eventually, at one point, receive a response from your manager. They basically give a blanket statement of, we're looking into it, we're doing interviews, we haven't found the right person yet. Those kinds of passive statements. Probably don't think they're doing too much. But towards the end of the time, you do see a new person there. Working the night shift.
Uriel's curious.
Okay.
They're gonna go up and introduce themselves.
Okay. They're busy cleaning when you approach them. They are potentially a new hire. They just weren't paying attention, and you kind of startled them. Like, oh, hi. My name's Amy?
Nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Kotzer.
Hi. She'll just stand there awkwardly, holding her broom.
Is everything alright?
I didn't expect anyone to come up and talk to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle or distract you. I just... Doing what I do, I like to know who's around. And I felt if you're a new hire, it'd be in my best interest to come up and introduce myself.
Good to meet you.
So you are one of the new hires then?
Yeah. I think I was the only one right now.
I'm sorry, the older one?
Only one.
I'm sorry, I have a hard time hearing. If you don't mind my asking, what drew you to what drew you here? Was it just
I needed a
the money?
job. And the pay's
noticed-
good.
I noticed that a lot. Well, I apologize for startling you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it is nice to see a new face around here every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Did you need anything else?
No, just wanted to say hi. I primarily work nights, so so if you continue to see nights, you'll probably see a lot of me.
Good to know. Okay, I'm gonna go work.
Absolutely. Don't let me keep you, and if you need anything, please let me know.
Right. Good night. And she'll shuffle off, like kind of giving you weird looks as she walks down the hallway.
You get for being friendly, I guess. They'll just kind of mutter under their breath and walk away.
Okay. Do you want to do anything else with them?
Gonna let them work.
Okay.
Keep an eye on them.
Sure. So the rest of the night passes uneventfully. Nothing seems to come from Amy. Nothing like that. It was your bonded? You had or one of your herd, maybe not bonded, one of your herd comes up to you early in the morning, like you are getting ready to leave, and they kind of try to pull you away from anyone who's shuffling around or lingering.
Uriel will follow them.
Okay. So I don't really know too much what's going on, but I might have found who left that note before. I'm not really sure.
Lead is a lead.
It's one of the. I haven't really seen him around too much, to be honest. I think he goes by the name of Skip or something like that. I don't know his last name.
Does that ring any bells for Uriel?
Just roll me wits. Just tell me how many successes you get.
None.
You think you've heard the name in passing? You aren't always around that often, though, so you don't know exactly who's in the Chantry at all times. Because there are people who come and go, and people who only show up occasionally. So you think you've heard the name, but you're not sure in what context or how often they're around. So your person keeps going. I kind of was following up on some of those books that you checked out. They were looking at the same ones. I don't know.
Follow up on that. Thank you.
Yep. If I find out anything else, I will let you know.
Appreciate it.
So you don't have much time to get back to your haven to rest at this point of the morning. So you don't have much time to do anything else. If you want to rest at your haven tonight. Into the morning.
Yeah, if I can make it back to the Haven, we'll just go straight back there. If not, I'll find...
You have time to make it back to the Haven. You just don't have time to do other things and make it back to the Haven.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uriel will go straight back to the Haven and follow up on that later.
Okay. So, go ahead and reset your willpower. And then give me your rouse check. And what is your hunger at?
I succeed the hunger check, so I am still at 1.
Okay. Good to know. That's very good. So, as you wake up from your day sleep, your evening begins normally. No missed messages, no urgent calls, no urgent emails. There is a follow-up one from the management stating that there was a new hire and your request has been fulfilled. In the broadest of terms, there is a lot of job political talk inside there, but it boils down to, hey, we did what you want, be happy.
Gotta love
Placating.
management.
Very placating. So, as you walk, do you go to the Chantry? Do you go to the DIA?
Yeah, they'll head out there, check on their office, do a little bit of work, and if there's time, see what strikes their interest.
Okay, well, this is very, very early in the evening, within the first hour or two. So, as you approach there, you are feeling something a little bit off, but you're not sure what. Nothing's different, nothing's changed, everything is exactly like it normally is. There's just a little prickle in the back of your head that something it's not sitting right. But nothing else comes of it. Doesn't get worse, it's just kind of barely there right now.
Does anything look off? Is there like anyone new hanging around? Any new security systems? Any
Nope.
new artifacts?
Currently, everything appears, to the best of Uriel's ability, that everything is exactly as it should be. Everyone's acting. So, you can give me wits and awareness, if you'd like.
Sure. Three successes.
Everyone appears to be acting fine. There maybe a few more ghouls in there than is typical, but other than that, there appears to be nothing really wrong.
Uriel is going to decide to forego any leisure study and complete their work as fast as they can and leave and see if the feeling follows them out the door. Or if it's just something going on with the DIA.
There's something in the DIA. When you walk towards the green, it's like you're stepping away from So you know that feeling of when you step into kind of old cobwebs that are barely hanging there? You feel like you're stepping away from that when you leave the DIA. And it's only barely there, like I said. It's in the back of your mind. It's not a physical sensation. It's a mental one.
Uriel's gonna kind of frown, turn around and squint at the DIA and see if they can pull a premonition.
It is not triggering right now.
Weird.
I'll let you know above table. The rules say you can only have typically one per scene. It's already happened. The feeling was a premonition.
Makes sense.
So that feeling is lingering there, but it's not. The farther you get from the building, the less it is.
Uriel's going to hang around the green for a little bit. just sit down somewhere, pull out a notepad and a pen and that they keep on hand, and just mindlessly doodle as they keep an eye on the DIA, see if they can observe anything that happens over time.
Okay. How long would you like to stay there?
Couple hours.
Okay.
I got nothing better to do.
So your work probably took you a few hours. You're probably bordering on midnight, 1 o'clock now, and the DIA is closed to the mortal population, and it is closed entirely for the evening, except to those who know what it truly is. There's ways in, and you know those ways. You do see a ghoul or two standing there. But you've seen them around before, so it's nothing unusual. Maybe just stepping out to have some fresh air out of the dusty library from the basement. What would Uriel like to do?
They will observe the ghouls for just a moment.
Okay.
See
So,
what they're doing.
Dougie and Tony, what are you doing?
Tony's having a smoke break.
Yeah, and Dougie doesn't smoke, but he vapes.
Okay. Well, they are just standing there, chatting a little bit. Mostly taking an extended break. Several hundred feet away from the building, as is mandatory. Then we go back in.
Does that feeling fade as they walk back in?
Nope.
Or is it still going?
It's still going.
Uriel's gonna follow them back in.
So that feeling of walking into cobwebs appears. But again, it's not a physical sensation. It is completely a mental one. And your mind pulls an image of webs and cobwebs and broken strings and things like that. That's the feeling that you're getting as you walk into it.
Has this happened before? Would this be a familiar feeling, or is this something like totally new?
Give me wits and awareness. I'm telling you now, it will be a difficult roll.
Haha, nope, that's a 2.
No?
I'd probably put them even more on edge. Nothing's out of place.
Go ahead and give me another wits and awareness, but this is for a different roll. A different
Okay.
thing.
Got a 4 that time?
Okay. So you do see someone else kind of loitering near the door. And it's someone you maybe have seen in passing, but you're fairly unfamiliar with them. But they keep pacing, like leaving and then coming back. You didn't see them from the outside, but it is something you notice as you kind of linger on the inside. It's not overly suspicious and probably wouldn't catch your attention on a normal day. But with the unease and general paranoia Uriel is most likely feeling right now. It's just odd enough.
Uriel's gonna walk up to them, or see if they can catch their attention.
It's maybe mid to late 20s, a man. Just fairly nice. His hair is a little bit disheveled, though.
They're gonna walk up to him. Excuse me, sir, the DIA is closed to visitors for the night. Is everything alright?
What? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you.
My headphones pinged for some reason.
Oh.
That's cool. So, he, like, and pulls out a badge, and you recognize it as one of the badge owned by the Tremere to let them into the building.
Oh, okay.
And on it, you see the name, Skip McCoy.
Is there, if that's the case, is there something I can help you find?
Just not feeling great tonight.
So, if you don't mind my asking.
Feeling pretty anxious tonight for some reason.
Would it help if I said I felt it too?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. Who are you?
Dr. Kotzer, I have an office here. I do restoration work.
Ah. Yeah, I don't think I've really met you before.
Yeah, I don't, it's complicated. But I think I've at least seen you in passing before.
I'm not very high up here. I'm fairly new. Within the past handful of months to a year.
Well, for what it's worth, welcome to Detroit.
I'm new to the nightlife within the year.
Welcome to Detroit. Hellhole that it is our little hellhole.
Right. And a couple times throughout the conversation, he's checked his watch. There is a very heavy feeling of anxiousness from him.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be keeping you if you're running late for something.
Just keeping an eye on the time.
Right. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to ask. Been around the
Course not.
nightlife for a good hot minute.
That's so. How long?
Long enough. She's just gonna, or they're just gonna give him a. He's slipping. They're just gonna give him a little bit of a suspicious look.
He'll glance back at the door and back at his watch. Like, did you need help with anything?
No. Wanted to make sure you were all right.
I just can't wait to get out of here. Had to wait for someone, and I can't wait to leave.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think that's something I can help with, unless maybe I can help you find who it is you're looking for.
Well, they're not here yet.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm not going to keep.
What?
Like I said, if there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. Otherwise, best of luck. I hope they get here soon.
Yep, should only be another 10-15 minutes.
Cool. Very well. And Uriel will very awkwardly kind of shuffle off, keeping a close eye on the very fidgety newcomer.
Okay. Would you like to do anything? Roll anything? What would you like to do?
Pretend to look busy somewhere else while still keeping an eye on Skip.
Okay. For that one, give me manipulation and subterfuge, or if you have performance, which I don't think you do.
That is going to be 2 successes, and I can't do too much better.
So it takes him a minute, but as you're standing there trying to look busy with other things, you can see he keeps glancing back at you. With that same anxious energy, getting a little bit more so.
Uriel's just gonna let it happen. See what goes on.
That feeling of cobwebs, of being surrounded by web, like dusty cobwebs and broken webs, gets a little bit heavier as time ticks on for the next couple of minutes. Slowly, subtly at first, but you realize that it's happening.
Ugh. After a little while, Uriel's probably gonna get like super duper uncomfortable and just kind of give up and like, nah, I can't keep doing this, and go to exit the DIA and take a break. If she passes Skip, if they pass Skip, they pass Skip.
Okay.
Is what it is. They're not gonna make any attempt to hide that they need to head off and get a little air.
So it's been about 10-15 minutes at this point, and he doesn't seem to be exiting yet, but you walk past him, and there is something suspicious going on here at this point. It's easy to tell, even to your semi-untrained eyes and things like this. But you open the door, and immediately nothing catches your eye. But you see a group of people walking up the street. And all of a sudden, that feeling drapes heavier when you see them. It's a group of 4 people.
Do any of them look recognizable? Is there anything I can tell that would trigger that when seeing them? Ugh.
There is not.
Fantastic.
Do you leave? Because you're kind of standing in the doorway at this point.
Yeah. Is it like a sense of dread?
No, just that old tacky feeling of dusty cobwebs. But again, it's entirely mental. It's not a physical sensation. But it's hitting heavier now.
Uriel is going to continue walking, trying to get away from the DIA and from this group of people into some sort of green space, out into the streets, just away
Okay.
from this very weird sensation.
Are you walking towards or away from the group?
They're curious enough that they'd probably walk towards the group at least a little bit.
The sensation actually doesn't go away now. Even though you're walking away from the building. It's actually almost getting worse as you approach the group. There's still maybe a good 20, 30 feet between you guys.
Can I tell if they're... Am I too far away to tell if they're mortal or not?
Yeah, it's not as cold as it used to be, so people's breaths aren't showing.
Mm-hmm. Do they seem like they're walking towards the DIA, or are they just out walking?
Give me what's an awareness or insight.
Wits and insight it is, because that's just a little bit better. Four.
They do appear to be walking towards that direction. Not directly, but they are walking towards it. You're about 20 feet away now.
Uriel will continue in their direction, but we'll keep an eye on the group, assuming that they're the ones that Skip is supposed to meet.
Okay. So, you're 10 feet away now, and that feeling is draping heavily on your mind. It feels so strange. Like something is trying to tug things into place at this point, but it's not working. And then all of a sudden, one of them, like, stops mid-step and just stares at Uriel. And the others keep going for a few paces before kind of like looking back like, what are you doing? But that person is just staring Uriel down at this point.
Uriel's gonna kind of squint at them. Do they look familiar at all?
They do not.
They're just gonna keep at they're gonna like continue to walk as if to pass them, just like assuming that they're just being weird.
They haven't moved since, other than to follow Uriel, but they do wave the others on. And after a few minutes, they do move. And they continue towards the DIA, looking back at their missing companion, very confused. Then you're getting real close to this person, and they just appear shocked.
Once Uriel gets a little bit closer, they're gonna take a good look at this person and... Is there something I can help you with? You're staring awfully hard there.
So the person you're speaking to is a man, but it's kind of hard to tell. Similarly to Uriel, there is fairly androgynous, but tipping towards masculine. D, we thought you died.
Uriel's just gonna kind of stop. And lean forward. Consider them real hard. Did you just call me?
Your name, D? Would you change it?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
You're acting real weird.
Am I? I thought that bitch didn't have any friends left.
They'll take a step back. That explains why she never came back.
Well, 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 isn't this a surprise? I thought you all had left her for dead.
We thought she was, and apparently she is.
Quite unfortunate.
It was for us.
So what now?
What now, indeed? 1 second to look something up. I would like you to give me a wits and resolve, please.
Sure thing. That is 5 successes.
Unfortunately for you, your mind goes fuzzy. And you have the vaguest sensation of someone telling you to forget something. And then there's no one there. And you can't quite figure out what you were doing. You remember seeing a group. They were walking towards the DIA. But there's no one in front of you, and there's no group outside.
Are the cobwebs still hanging?
Yep.
Uriel's gonna stand there for a moment and look confusedly at the DIA. Give it just a moment. See if they can figure out what they were doing there. And if they can't, they'll just keep walking.
So, Uriel remembers leaving, remembers Skip acting weird, remembers the group of people, remembers walking towards them. Gets a little bit fuzzy after that. Things are fading out. And then, like, it must have been the cobwebs, because you just blinked and then there was no one there. It must be acting really weird. It's been bothering you all night. but there's no one there anymore. But you do remember they were heading towards the DIA. And the doors are closed.
They're just gonna stand there and sigh to themselves. I probably should go check on things, shouldn't I? If that is the idiot that left the note in my office, no telling what. Oh, they could be pawing through my stuff. And so they're gonna just not entirely sure what the heck is going on right now. Just book it back to the DIA.
Okay. So you run up to the doors at this point, and you slide your card, or hold up your card, whatever you have to do. And it unlocks, it clicks like normal. And as you go to push the door, it's blocked.
That's not good.
That hasn't happened
is-
before. It's stuck a
Yeah.
couple of times, so, I mean, you could try pushing it, but it hasn't felt like this.
Activate Sense the Unseen. See if someone's trying to hold it shut from the other side, or if something's...
Well, you can't see through the door. It's a solid door.
Oh, gotcha. Is there a back entrance?
There's the normal back entrance. This is one of the only ones that you are allowed into. There's another maybe on the other... Maybe exactly on the other side of the building, give or take a little bit, but there is one other one that you are aware of.
I'll go ahead and check the other entrance that we typically use.
So you make your way around. And give me athletics and strength.
Because that's a great roll for a Tremere.
What?
One success. One success.
You're the active though, so you beat their one too. So you can feel tension on the door as you're doing it. It's similar, but this has a tiny bit of give to it. Feels like someone's holding it. And you do your best to ram your shoulder into it, as weak and twiggy as you are. And you hear a "Ugh" sound, and the door pops open. And on the other side, Skip is standing there.
Uriel is going to shove their way in and glare daggers. What the are you doing?
Then he's just like standing there shocked for a second, glances behind him. And then he is going to do something too. Let me make sure I have this one right. Probably not gonna work, but he's gonna try anyway. Intelligence and resolve, please.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to work because I got 8 on a crit.
Okay. So he's like makes intense eye contact with you. You need to leave. And you feel That cobweb sensation. A different one. You're used to this one, though. You know what this feels like. They're trying to compel you to leave.
Oh, I think the fuck not.
Shit.
Yeah, you're not the first one to try that, and you're not gonna be the last. So, I'm gonna give you one opportunity to tell me what's going on and tell me truthfully, and maybe I can help you.
I didn't choose this.
With how twitchy you were, I figured there was a chance you hadn't.
I had
So
to wait for him.
enlighten me.
I didn't choose this. I didn't want to be this. I just wanted to have a normal life. And I didn't want to be involved in any of this.
Wants are dust in the wind now, sweetheart.
You say
You
that,
are involved.
except I'm doing something. You found me out. That's fine.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on?
You gonna
We're
make
gonna
me?
have to ring. I could try. I don't know if you would want me to, but I could try.
Guess you could try, couldn't you? And he'll reach behind him real fast. He's not doing anything yet, but he's definitely reaching behind him. His hand is kind of tucked behind his shirt.
Uriel's going to go for their self-protection that they keep with them.
Okay? Who gets off first, I wonder? What's your dexterity?
My dexterity is a 2.
So is theirs. Alright. So, are you going to fire, or are you just holding?
Just holding.
Do you have rapid reflexes?
I do not.
Okay. So you'll just get the normal rolls then. I believe is how that works. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
No bonuses then.
I believe.
Hang on. Dying and that's what's going on. So go ahead and do Dex and Athletics to attempt to dodge. I haven't done firearms yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dangle.
That is correct.
Okay.
If Uriel did not see the attack coming, which I believe that they did, they wouldn't have gotten a roll.
That's what I thought. Just making sure.
4 on a crit.
Okay, so you do. Actually, no. He gonna roll willpower. Reroll. You can too if you'd like, but you're probably still gonna win it. He's just desperate. Yeah, you still win. He pulls out his firearm and shoots it off, and you step aside a mile. He has been twitchy. He wasn't really aiming. He wasn't really trying. Maybe. You don't know. He could just be really bad at shooting firearms. But it all happens so quick that it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. But that noise is deafening in this area. And if I recall, you have a sensory thing with sound.
Auditory sensitivity. Yep.
Right. So remind me what we decided to do for that.
It compels a dice penalty equal to the strength of the flaw to any let's see, it was awareness. Awareness, investigation, or insight, or any sound-based rolls.
Okay. And what is the how many dice penalty?
It's currently sitting at 1.
Okay. So keep that in mind moving forward because your ears are ringing and you can barely hear anything else. You two hear this. The two ghouls, Tony and Dougie, you hear this shot go off.
I'm going to investigate.
Okay. It'll take you a couple minutes to get there. A minute or two. Because you were doing your own things. Dougie, you're doing the same thing, I assume?
Dougie will pick up the heaviest book that he has near him. That
Okay.
isn't like super valuable. And will also do that.
It's a very thick encyclopedia. It's on the older side, but not importantly rare. A nice chunky encyclopedia. So, Uriel, your ears are ringing. It almost brings you to your knees in the amount of pain that it causes you in that moment. Because the echoing halls. You've dealt with firearms before. You can manage that, typically. But the echoing in these halls is awful. And Skip seems shocked that, one, he missed. Two, that he did it. And he also might be a tiny bit impacted from the loudness, not expecting it to be that bad. So you're both rattled for a moment, but he composes himself and like shakily raises it up again. And it's almost point blank to you. What would you like to do? He's not firing yet. But he's the hands on the trigger. If you do something, he's probably going to go for it. And you can see his mouth moving.
Let's see. Shoot, Uriel isn't really built for combat. Shouldn't have done that. This is going to probably not end well. But, Uriel's gonna shoot him in the legs.
Okay. So this is going to be, you're both going off at the same time because he was prepared for this. So we're both going to roll, and you both roll athletics. Roll good.
Let's see, I rolled... And then dexterity and athletics, you said, for the other roll?
Right, but what did you roll in the first place?
I rolled 4.
So did he, actually. And then, yes, dexterity and athletics.
And that's going to be a 3 on
So
the
he rolled-
dexterity and athletics.
He rolled 1, so he'll take... Are firearms aggravated? No, they're superficial still.
Yes.
So he'll take 3, and you'll take 1. And he'll stumble back. Nearly dropping the weapon, but still holding it. And your ears, they are pounding at this point.
I warned you.
And his mouth is still moving. You can't hear him, though. You can't hear yourself. It's just that ringing.
It's so dumb that vampires don't have just a standard bite attack. I'm so mad. I just want to bite his hand.
Then give me dexterity and brawl.
I was gonna go.
You tell me what you want to do. I'll come up with the roll for it.
They're pissed off at this point. They're going to lunge and clamp down on his wrist.
Okay.
That's a 2, and I can't do much better.
Okay. Remind me what the Tremere compulsion is?
Perfection.
Okay. Because that was the skull one, yeah? Yeah. Okay. I have to keep that in mind, because that's all he rolled. You actually manage it. You rolled how many, I'm sorry?
2.
2. So
On a
he...
successful bite, it's a standard 3 aggravated. Or no, 2 aggravated, sorry.
Okay. He's not looking super great at this point.
Uriel just wants him to drop the gun.
He will actually. I'll give you that one. He does drop it.
And as soon as the gun is on the floor, they'll let go and grab the gun.
Okay. He's clutching his hand and like stumbles back a little bit more. Like you like shredded his hand. You bit and then pulled.
They're just gonna stand there staring angrily at him, clutching the guns for dear life, muttering, "You shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that."
By this point, you two come around the corner and see this.
Tackle the person we don't know.
Yeah, Dougie's gonna literally throw the book at Uriel.
Uriel?
Well, the gunshots, they have both of them.
That's fair. That's a potentially fair assessment. You have seen both of these people. One of them is clutching their hand, clearly having been bitten. Uriel's holding both guns.
Uriel will swat the book away angrily. "Not me!"
Well,
Shut
you
up
are going to
first.
give me dexterity and athletics. Give me strength and brawl. You can just assume an average amount of dice.
2.
I rolled 3.
So that book hits you square in the chest with a heavy thump.
They will
It
rattle
won't actually do damage, but it sends you back for a minute because it's a big book. And then you said you were going to tackle him, so again, we'll call it 4 dice.
Okay, yeah, that's good because that's what I rolled. I got 4 successes.
Yep. You tackle him. He leaves a bloody smear on the ground as his hand smacks and his gunshot wounds a smear.
"Hell, Dougie!"
You've got guns, and I've heard gunshots, and he's hurt, and
He
what's going
shot
on?
me- He shot me first. Check the tapes.
Yeah, because I have that on me, right?
Is Spike or whatever his name is still muttering?
Skip.
This is Skip. He has just kind of given up at this point. He's just laying there. He's not in torpor, but he isn't putting up a fight.
What's going on here?
He doesn't say anything.
Uriel's gonna give one more snarl to Dougie and then round on Skip. And this is a terrible idea. They're gonna bite into their own wrists, will the vitae to the surface, and shove it in Skip's mouth in an attempt to bond them.
Give me a rouse check.
I fail the rouse check. I'm now at 2 hunger.
Okay. Doesn't seem to work. If you tell him to do something, he's not doing it. He just lays there listlessly.
But Tony, why that didn't work?
I have a few theories.
Tony probably would not. You can roll me 3 dice for intelligence and occult. I give you 4. 4 dice. We didn't really make stat sheets for these characters.
1.
No idea. It always works to your knowledge.
Do one of you two have a water bottle on you? Or any sort of empty vessel, a cup, a bowl, beer bottle for all I care?
I can run to the break room real quick and get a little coffee cup thing.
Yes, please do.
Takes you a minute.
You'll just go floop.
Yeah, it takes you a minute or 2 to run back. Is there anything you two would like to do in the meantime? Actually, give me wits and awareness, please.
So another 4 for Tony, or
We'll call this one 3.
That's going to be a 4 on a pair of crits.
2.
Give me 1 second. Oh, I thought this one had stealth. Did you take your penalty?
Yes. I
Mm.
only rolled 2. I rolled the 2 blood dice and then the 2 regular dice I got because the one.
Okay, and you got a
is-
crit
I got
success?
Yes.
You faintly make out the... I'm sorry, how much did Tony roll?
2.
Okay. You both hear the sound of footsteps running the opposite direction that Dougie ran in. But it's around the corner, so you don't see anyone. But they seem to be going farther away. And Uriel, that cobweb feeling is kind of dissipating. It's not gone, it's still there and it's still heavy. But as these footsteps recede, so is that feeling.
Uriel's gonna chase the cobweb feeling. They're gonna have the guns at the ready and just take off after whoever it is.
So you're leaving Tony with Skip?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Dougie, when you get back, Uriel's gone.
So, do you know how to extract Vitae, or do you wait for her to get back?
And he'll take off his belt and roll him over. You're apparently stronger than I am.
I'll try to do that.
He's not fighting you. He just he flops.
Just like tie his hands together and like try to tie his feet together, like tie his shoelaces together or something. I don't know.
Sure. He's actually not fighting you. He's just completely given up on everything. Uriel, you took off down the hallway. Give me dexterity and athletics, please.
That's gonna be 2 successes.
So that feeling's getting heavier. You seem to be gaining on the person. And you do kind of see them as they duck into another doorway. You remember seeing them with the group, and it was the one that was staring at you, but you don't remember anything other than that from them.
Are there other people around?
No.
Just in some vain hope that someone will hear them, Uriel will call out, "Intruder, get back here!"
You yell it out. No one immediately responds. Would you like
Uriel's
me to
gonna-
give chase?
Yes, Uriel's gonna give chase.
Same roll.
It's gonna be 2 again.
So this person is weaving in and out of displays with a strange foreknowledge, almost, of where things are. It's bizarre how well they manage to duck and dodge and weave, and you quickly lose sight of them. You know the general direction they were going, but you do not see them or hear them. You can try one more time.
They're gonna try and keep following.
I rolled a 5 with a crit.
That's gonna be 1 more 2.
Hey, men. Remind me what the Malkavian one is.
Delusion, your sensories go insane and you lose 2 dice to, I believe, intelligence, wits, and dexterity.
Okay. Thank you. So you hear a clang as they run into something. And you can mostly catch up with them at this point, because they rolled like shit. So you're kind of tied at this point. We'll do one more. But he ain't gonna roll very well.
2 again.
So you do manage to catch up with them, actually. And their eyes are darting everywhere. Like, they're unfocused. It's hard to, like, you can't even make eye contact with them because they're just looking everywhere.
Yeah. How about we just... Ugh, I hate this. Stupid loud guns. Don't make me fire this thing again.
And you can read the lips more than hear him say it. And you just, there's a no, 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 no. Just over and over and over. And they back up to the wall and they appear afraid, but they're just glancing around.
Uriel's gonna keep the gun trained on them and just wait. They don't want to fire the gun again. But they also want to know what's going on. And this person is clearly in no fit state to do anything yet.
Okay, how long do you wait?
Couple minutes, see if anyone comes following them.
No one does.
They thought that was a loud clang.
You guys, you two, you don't really hear the clang. It's faint, but they went running. They might have bumped into something, but they wanted you to stay with this guy. What would you like to do?
Obey the command.
Are you staying or going?
Would probably honestly sit on the tied up person.
Okay. There doesn't appear to be anyone coming. And the tension in the other person is starting to ease up as whatever grips their mind is starting to pass.
Oh, good. You seem a little bit more lucid now. Mind telling me what's going on here?
Don't suppose there's any chance that you'll just walk away.
As the old saying goes, not a snowball's chance in hell. Came into my territory.
Technically, we were invited in.
What, by the new kid?
You're not that new. You certainly have newer.
So she's one of yours too.
She? What she are you talking about?
Never mind then.
But we were let in.
Yeah. Pretty sure. It's awfully convenient that he waited until the archivist was gone to let you in. Almost like he didn't have permission to bring outsiders.
Well, I have to say, I don't know what all that's about. It really felt like the right time to be here for us.
Insight this guy.
Sure.
That's going to be 5 successes because I actually have a dice pool for that one.
Give me 1 second. He's pretty charismatic. He's not lying. He's telling the truth. Like, what he's talking, he's not lying. And you believe him that he was let in. You know, he doesn't know necessarily anything about the archivist giving permission. He wasn't lying about that. He was very truthful.
Say I believed you.
Well, I'd hope you did, because I'm not lying.
You wouldn't mind leaving, would you?
That's a bit rough. See, the rest of my friends aren't here with me to leave. We're not quite done with the party that we were gonna have. You look like you ran into some trouble. We weren't intending to single anyone out here.
Sure. Look, I don't know what kind of 90s office sitcom you think this is. CIA doesn't do parties.
They do, though. You can rent it out on their website. You mean you didn't check? You don't know that? Don't you work here?
Now you're just being cute. Or at least
I'm
you
not,
think you
though.
are.
Because you can actually do that.
Uriel's gonna step towards them. Get your friends and get lost. Only warning.
Okay, are you gonna let me go get them? You did tell me to go get them.
Yes. And Uriel's gonna like essentially escort them out at gunpoint.
Well, they're not leaving because they don't have their friends, and they point that fact out to Uriel because Uriel told them to go get their
escort
friends.
them out of the room to go get their friends.
Okay. So, you make your way down, past where you know he should be, kind of into the interior areas. Give me, what's an awareness?
Or
You hear a thumping sound as you get closer. It's not like someone's smacking on something. And it gets louder as you go down.
Uriel's gonna give this other person that they're escorting a look.
Well, just kind of shrug. But they'll keep walking. Give me another. Give me a wits and insight. All good.
Falling. 5.
You can't make any sense of what this person is trying to accomplish. They're giving off the air of being guileless and open and inviting, like borderline playful. And that's all you can read from them.
Uriel's gonna fix them with a stern look. If your friends are down here breaking anything, you're going to regret it. I'm warning you now.
Our intention isn't to break anything. We're just here to have a good time, okay?
Let's just say I've met enough people to know that sometimes someone's idea of a good time is not the same as someone else's.
Give me a composure and resolve, and it's going to be very, very easy roll, but it still takes you by surprise with your auditory issues. As he lets out a sharp whistle.
That is going to be another 4.
So you steal yourself pretty well, even though you're taken by surprise. You shake your head for a second and let me check one more thing. Okay. So you shake your head and he's just smiling. He's not doing anything. Just kind of steps back and puts his hands up. Sorry. As another person steps out of the shadows like they are melting off of them. It's not like the obfuscation that you've seen. This is something else. This is from the shadows.
Would Uriel know what that is?
Intelligence and occult.
It's a very good roll for me.
Because I don't know if they have come across this clan before.
Three successes.
You gather it's a Lasombra stepping out of the shadows.
Uriel will appraise them with an openly curious eye.
They will meet your face with almost an emotionless mess. They are cold looking, like ruthless. There is bad intentions there. As suddenly strikes out and tries to grab Uriel. And it is a man. It's a very, very strong looking man.
Uriel will attempt to dodge and pull the gun at the same time.
Okay. Now, would you say Uriel was taken by surprise by the aggressive action?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So then
In all
you
fairness,
don't
yeah.
immediately get a firearm or the shot off.
Yeah, shoot.
Oh shit.
They
I'm
would
sorry,
not go
Lola.
to It's all good. They would not go to immediately shoot. Dodging would be more the priority, but having the gun at the ready.
Okay. I dropped 2 of my dice on my dog. That's why I said sorry, Zella. What did you roll?
4.
You just get these just almost bear hug, but like you just steel arms lock around you, preventing any movement. As you
Instinct.
are unable to move.
pure instinct, Uriel will shriek bloody murder and then bite into the arm holding them.
Okay.
Or
Let
at
me
least
just
attempt to.
look up one more thing because there's lots of abilities that I haven't personally used. Yeah. Okay. So you can go ahead and bite down. They are not going to move. What'd you get?
Just 2. Not very good.
Okay. Since he's not moving, he will take the, what did you say, was 2 aggravated?
Yes.
Unlike the last time you did this, though, he is not budging. There is not even a flinch as your fangs sink in and rip into his arms.
Uriel will just continue to do whatever they can to get away, squirming, ducking down, shrieking, biting. Just continue the cycle. You're muted, I can't hear you.
The other person is walking away at this point. So you were facing forward, and they have kind of gone out of view, but as you swing your head around, you do see them, and there is a door that has been locked from the outside with like a metal pole that has been bent to lock it into place. And that's where the thumping is coming from. Looks like some people got locked inside. But you can attempt to make dexterity and athletics. And we're going to roll this astounding dice pool again.
This is gonna be terrible. It's probably not even gonna matter. I got 3, and that's about the best I can do.
Would you like me to tell you what I rolled?
No.
Okay. You don't move a centimeter. You are locked in here. Almost like he is relentlessly grasping you. Above table. That's exactly what's going on here.
This can I know I'm kind of like bear hugged right now. Can I like fumble with the guns and try and shoot him in the leg?
I will allow this roll. However, you can barely, if you needed to, you couldn't breathe. That's how tightly you are being held against him. If you roll badly, there is a small chance that you shoot yourself. Just from trying to angle the gun.
Yeah, I get it. Uriel's just pretty desperate at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt it.
Okay. By all
I'm gonna
means.
attempt it more than once, but I'm gonna attempt it.
It's a small chance. Not very high. But it's there.
That's a 3.
You're good. But again, since he's holding you, he cannot move. He's still up though. Still not shaken.
Let me go.
So, another person comes around the corner, and they are holding a lighter, and a bottle and a rag in it on the other hand. And they just got this big smile on their face. And it's a woman. And making sure that it's when your face is turned to them, they click the lighter and the flame starts. It's a little lighter flame so far. And they are just cackling. And then they light it and throw. And I need a fire frenzy check from you as the door is engulfed. It's a metal door, but this door is engulfed in flames as burning alcohol splashes all over it.
Let's see, that's unspent willpower?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll roll all those in a second here.
I got 3 successes.
Okay. What is... Can someone look that up for me while I roll 5 people's worth of willpowers?
So sight of a torch is fine, and that is 5, and a bonfire is 6.
Yes, I'm going to say this is probably closer to a bonfire. Yeah. Those arms around you drop you, and you smack to the floor, and they all take off. And so do you. At the sight of the flames.
Is there... No, in the frenzy I can't really think. Never mind.
Nope, you are terrified. This utter panic is going through you. But you split off from the others because you know the faster way out. You've been here more than them. Your beast knows this. Theirs doesn't. So they're making for the front entrance in their blind fury. Or blind fear. You make your way to the side entrance, and you actually pass Dougie and Tony. And skip. But you don't stop. You just take off. And then as you open that door, the alarms go off. Deafening in your panic still. And so you just keep going. You need to get away from here. And as you do, that cobweb feeling stretches and plucks and rips and tears. Till almost all of it's gone. But not quite. And the museum is far behind you. And then there are sirens. And then the fear frenzy fades as it's behind you. No one's around. And there's people gathering because of the fire. The building's not up, but it was down in the archives. You didn't see anything catch on your way out, so that means they have to go down there for the fire. And you can think about what that means, but what would you like to do now?
Shaking, they're gonna pull out their phone. About what time is it getting to be?
You spent a lot of time waiting around, so it's getting very early.
They're going to they're gonna order an Uber back to their place. And while they're waiting for the Uber to get there, they're gonna send Rev a text that just says, "Call me tomorrow."
Okay. Rufus, you are going to be busy right now. You don't get a chance to respond. Is there any final things that Uriel would like to do as they are deposited back at their haven? If you were mortal, your heart would still be racing.
No, they need to settle. They're probably experiencing sensory overload right now, so we're just gonna go into the haven. No lights. Gonna turn off fans, AC, whatever, and just sit in the quiet until they can finally fall into the day sleep.
And it comes quickly after that. And so we fade off into the day as Uriel is left pondering what the ramifications of tonight are. Announcements. Head to our website at totalpartykrit.com if you want to find any of our socials. Please join our Discord. You can find it on there. Find any of our social media links, links to our YouTube channels. Our podcasts are a bit behind. I've had a lot of internet issues lately. We'll hopefully be fixing that soon. On our main page there, you can scroll down and find our Dice Legion link, which they sell dice, a lot of other cool dice accessories and things like that. If you follow that link, you get an automatic discount applied to your things. Helps us, helps Dice Legion, helps you save some money. It's always great for everyone involved there. They're a small business, and we like to support them. They're fantastic to work with. Next to that link, you can find a link to our Patreon. We would immensely appreciate it if you could help us there a little bit monetarily. But if you can't, and we totally understand that because times are tough right now, give us a like, subscribe, follow, share. All of that helps get us out there. And if you enjoyed tonight's game, maybe you should follow some of our other games, because this isn't the only one that ends like this. This was Uriel's single game. You can join us or continue staying here with us to potentially do a deep dive if we have some time. If not, and if you don't have the time, it will be up eventually for you to listen to. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Nope.
All right. So for those of you who are going to be watching on YouTube or listening to our podcasts, have a good evening and farewell.